If anybody out there is using the chalk duster font, who hurt you? How-To's webinar number 5. What about twos makes it so perfect for organizing, remembering, and sharing your life? But so what we are looking at right now is my daily list. The daily list is one of the most unique and important features that twos has to offer. Because in order to capture, remember, and share any piece of your life, you need a quick place to write it down. That is why the first thing that you'll see whenever you open twos is gonna be your daily list. Your daily list connects with your calendar, so you can create lists for your calendar events. You can also navigate back and forth from your daily list as easily as just kind of clicking up and down. Your daily list is also what is going to be a majority of where your reminders are most functional. So because you have a day, your day is associated with a date and time. That is what allows you to have the time of the webinar or the fact that I have a flight later today. But your day is really what gives you the ability of not only having your unfinished to-dos carry over day by day, but it also gives you the ability of setting reminders on these things. And the first thing that I want to do with my daily list is clean it up a little bit. And then I actually have turned on a user setting to collapse all of my completed things to the bottom of my lists. One more part of Two's core, I can select this thing, which is a random compliment from my grandmother. I can select it by pressing the dot on the right side of the screen, and now I can move it to my compliments that make me feel good list. Twos helps me capture, remember, and share all of these little pieces of my life that are so important to me. My friends' birthdays, compliments my grandma gives me, ideas for how to end conversations. It's totally random, but it's totally beautiful. So let's talk a little bit about lists. We recently have changed the new list flow. So your new list button is going to be in the top right-hand corner of your Twos browser app and your Twos mobile app. You also have the option of using the keyboard shortcut, Command Shift L, which will now create a new list. Let me think of a good list. You know what? I've used this example 100 times before, but I'm going to use it 100 more times. Banana bread recipe. You guys may or may not have noticed this little diamond icon at the top of an empty list, and that is our AI feature. So when I press use AI, then Twos will create a list for me based on the title of my new list. So now once again, the beautiful part, I can type ... space and I can write ingredients. And I can select these things by tapping the dash, holding shift, and tapping the next thing. I can add an indent here, and now I have all of the ingredients for my banana bread recipe. Now, let's say, see here, I mean, amazing. Optional, half chopped nuts. Optional, half chopped chocolate chips. Let's say I'm a purist and I don't want those things. Unlike in your typical ChatGPT experience, because Twos is a list and things app, you can actually choose to remove anything that isn't to its core of what you want your list to include. But you guys may have noticed I don't yet have directions for how to make my banana bread. So let's use AI once again in this list. Directions for how to make banana bread. So this, as opposed to a list title, is a thing. Things are indicated by the little dots that are actionable or selectable to the right of the things that you write down. And now I can use AI. This will be another little trick of the trade, which you may not have known. You don't necessarily need to use one of the default AI prompts because your thing is a prompt in and of itself. So Twos is currently reading the thing that I wrote down, and once I press generate, it'll now generate for me a list of directions or things that I will be able to insert into the list. And just like that, I now have all of my ingredients for my banana bread, all of my directions for my banana bread, and once again, the ability to very quickly and easily organize this information. Ingredients, directions, and the most beautiful part about a list is not only how easy it is to now find your lists. So there's my banana bread recipe. Here is a thing that I wrote down about this past Monday, buying some meme stonk. And the stonks are going bananas. So that is an example of lists. And so now let's talk a little bit about sharing the lists and then things. So once again, I can share a universal link to this list simply by going into the list actions and then pressing share list. And now if I were to have my messages opened, I would be able to share this link anywhere. So as a matter of fact, I can just paste it and that'll give you guys a good example. Here is just a link to the list with a unique identifier. And the most beautiful part about sharing your lists from twos is that you actually have the ability of updating the list for every new person who's going to go and access that information. It's pretty standard now, like if you think about Google Docs, for example, if I were to write an essay and then add an extra paragraph, then that would add things to the Google Doc. But here is an example of that, like, hi, mom. So when I add that thing, it gives me the ability of now communicating that additional message to the next person that opens the link to the list. So what better to talk about things than to use this list exactly? Things is our unique technology, and quite literally the most important thing that I can emphasize on this entire call. Just like I emphasized in our mission, our goal is to simplify how you organize, remember, and share things. And we have actually taken that to an extreme by breaking down individual pieces of information called things. Things are faster to capture. Things are all in one. Things are simple. Things are shareable. And things are formatable. So if I select this thing, this thing, this thing, and this thing, then I can format it to bold, all in one. I can highlight it. I can remove the highlight. And just to kind of give you an example how this is so much more easy and effective than dealing with highlighting, copying, and pasting text, it really just kind of gives you guys the ability of creating all of this information in one fail, or doing all of these actions in one fell swoop. So for example, let's go ahead and turn my directions and my ingredients into underlined things, so that once again, that just adds a little bit of beautiful design to my list. But this exactly, guys, is what things are. Now, here's a much more valuable part about things. I want to make banana bread. I don't have eggs. I don't have any more vanilla extract. I don't have any more baking soda. So I'm going to take these things and I'm going to move them, but not move them. I'm going to move a copy of them to my grocery list. So now I can navigate to my grocery list because I have these individual pieces of information, and I now will see those things in my organized grocery list such that I will now be able to pick these things up from the store. Hopefully that is a good example of things. And yeah, let's go ahead and move on. Days, lists, things. The three most simple, important, valuable, systematic features of twos, which makes capturing, remembering, and sharing your life easier than ever. So let's talk a little bit about to-dos. To-dos are indicated by a circle on the left side of your things. You can turn things into to-dos with ease. You can tap on a thing's dash and turn it into a to-do. You can type a keyboard shortcut, parentheses, parentheses, space to turn it into a to-do. And what is valuable about to-dos? To-dos automatically carry over to the next day if you do not complete them, and if they sit on your day. If you complete them, you get confetti and you get a sound, and also you have the ability of having your things along with your to-dos all in one place. So let's just say I'm writing a lot of things down. I gotta call Jas. I gotta, give Sflocko his prize. I can now use the auto sort feature, which will move my things next to one another. So it moves my page breaks next to one another, it moves my to-dos next to one another, and it moves my random things next to one another. Your to-dos will automatically carry over to the next day. You can also move your to-dos into an organized list so that you don't have a task-a-lanche, which is just a lot of unfinished to-dos following you around everywhere. And you can also view your to-dos in the to-dos view. So this is all of your to-dos throughout the app, wherever they may be, and you just have the ability of seeing a good overview of all of the things that you need to do when you use the to-dos type dash. What's new with twos? You guys are obviously super excited to talk about what's new with twos. So we have recently updated our drag and drop library on twos desktop. Drag and drop is a beautiful feature. Drag and drop gives us the ability of moving things up and down within a list simply by dragging and dropping them. If I grab on to the 6-pack dots on the left-hand side of your things, then I can drag them up and down the list no matter where they go. Now that's not all that new, that's not all that unique. Let's talk about what is new, what is cool, what is special. Let's go back to my day list. Let's say that I wrote something down like, hey, twos, Joe, love yourself super hard, right? Because, it's important to love yourself. Then I have the ability of dragging and dropping this thing anywhere into my twos. I can drag it into a list in my side menu. I can drag it onto my daily list. Now let's talk about dragging and dropping a copy of something. If I start the drag, so you hold command first, then you start dragging and dropping, and that'll actually move a copy. So it won't move the thing, it'll simply copy the list. And so now we will be able to see, hey, twos, Joe, love yourself super hard, and podcast release, but podcast release, once again, was a copy of the thing by holding command or by holding the Windows button on a Windows device. So that is the updates that we've made to drag and drop. And it also, because I do know that I'm sure a lot of people are interested in talking about it, it also gives you a lot of super easy ability within the twos split view. So I've just opened split view by pressing the button to open a split view screen on the right side of my daily list. Now I can change the size of these two lists by dragging this little bar in between. This gives you the ability of seeing two lists side by side. So let's say I'm having another conversation with Parker, and let's say Parker gives me a really sweet compliment. Twos, Joe, your webinar was super sick, and you're super sick. Twos, baller. I write that thing down because I want to remember it on my daily list. But the good news, I have a list for the compliments that make me feel good. So now I'll open my compliments that make me feel good list, which sits within my life list. So now I can drag and drop between these two lists. So just like I moved earlier by selecting those things, guys, you can also move things now by dragging and dropping. Shout out to Baller for drag and drop improvements. They will be coming to mobile soon, and then also to Android as soon as we can. But that is dragging and dropping improvements. All right, so in order to show you guys lists on days, I'm gonna need to open up a twos window on Chrome again. And now if I scroll to the bottom of my daily list, which is available now on the Test Flight app on iOS and obviously available on web, I will see all of the lists that I've contributed to today. So the live webinar master list, or also lists that I'm collaborated on. So Parker has added yet another thing to the bugs list. Trobo has added a thing or things to the questions list. This gives you the ability of seeing the lists that you're contributing to day by day. It is so valuable. So I made this list for tips for home buyers. I made some changes to my Columbia, South Carolina list. We are making these changes and showing you guys which lists that you're collaborating to based on the fact that they now will appear at the bottom of your days. Side menu, settings, appearance, show lists on days. A lot of other features in here, custom colors and font. So let's actually go ahead and change our font. Within appearance, we have our font family. Again, guys, this is something that is available on test flight. The settings have changed a little bit, so be patient with us while we systematize it and bring it all home. But let's say you want to change your font. Here's me changing my font to Verdana. Here's me changing my font to Monospace. Here's me changing my font to Chalk Duster. All right, navbar and home. Here's my home. Here's some affirmations from my daily list. Here's something I want to remember all the time. Here's my upcoming reminders. Here's my week. Here's my recent lists, including the RuneScape story. Here is the activity of people who are giving me notifications because I am a notification fan. Home. Beautiful, beautiful place to see a good overview of your twozap.com. So if I want to customize my home, let's say I want to add my daily list to home. I can drag that to the top. Let's say I want to add another specific list, like for example, my RuneScape list, because that's something that's very important to me and I'm going to hang on to that forever. I can drag it now to the top. And if I go back to my home, Happy Tuesday, shows your prestige, shows how many coins you guys have. And now I have my customized home. That is how you customize your home. It is available for free on the browser application, twozap.com, and the desktop app. It is, I believe, a premium feature on the mobile application. Last but not least, let's talk about that beautiful tab bar that I've been using in order to navigate around my twozap.com, between my day, between the world, between the home, between the world. I want to go into more in my side menu, more in my side menu. And you'll see a beautiful little blue customize button here. Here's my nav bar. Here's my side menu. Here's more. I'm gonna go ahead and drag my memories into my nav bar. I'm gonna drag home out of my nav bar because I love checking my memories. I love my memories. So now my nav bar is customized. Got my memories, got my today, got my world. These are the things or the views that you want to access most often within your twozap.com. So if I go back to my day, now I can navigate to my memories. And I'll see all of the lists that I've contributed today, how to cook rice, RuneScape story about a knight named Two's Joe, and I'll see all of the things that I have added to lists from 3 years ago. Let's quickly talk about favorite lists. We've got one vote for Feel Good Productivity. All right, so here's my Feel Good Productivity list, which I have published. I have it separated into sublist by parts. So for the introduction, it's not all that many things, so I've decided to create this with a toggle header. So my toggle header allows me to collapse and add things to the introduction section. I can add photos, I can add stars. Simply put, this is my Feel Good Productivity list, and it is available on Two's World, so if you would like to read it all, you can search for productivity or feel good or Ali on Two's World. But it also gives you the ability of saving these things. So, just random little pieces from the intro that I want to remember. Then I broke it down into each part and each chapter. Sublists are indicated by that little arrow to the right of things. So ostensibly, it gives me the ability of sharing this list as a link with my friends. So let's say, hey, I've been having trouble, with people. Like as it relates to my productivity journey, I'm just not really friendly with a whole lot of people. Because this is a sublist and not a toggle header, that means that it has generated a universal link to share that portion of the Feel Good Productivity list with whoever it is that you want to share it with. So broken up into toggle headers, sublists, and then also a hyperlink at the bottom where I made a little recap video. So that is my Feel Good Productivity list. The Twos Talk template. So let's talk a little bit about templates. That's cool. That's a cool idea. So this is my Twos Talk template, which I will find indicated by the little template icon. For Twos Talk, every couple of weeks we have these recurring segments. So why type those every time I need to make a new Twos Talk episode? I can simply templatize any list by going into the list actions, going into more options, and then going and toggling on templatize. And what that does is it gives me these two beautiful buttons at the top of my list, which then give me the ability of using the template, which creates a new list separate of the template, which now allows me to type episode 16. So that is a great example of how Twos utilizes templates in order to prevent you from having to retype your things. Twos Talk 2.0, episode 16. And when you're actually on the template, guys, this is what now will impact, every template hereafter. So if I use template again, now I have the FISDA. It could be for a recipe, it could be for a workout, it could be for a project that you want to do. Templatizing your lists now makes it so that they all live in your templates view, and your templates view gives you the ability of, for example, if I wanted to do another core values template, I could just click use, and you can also choose to publish or share your templates. I want to show you my Spain and Africa memories list because it's robust and it's intense. But it provides so many amazing memories when I'm least expecting them that I highly recommend writing things down that you want to be reminded of or remember from your trips and twos. So here is my list of all of the different days, which I was able to create so easily because I just moved things from my days, the days that I was in Bilbao, Morocco, Valencia, into lists. And then I organized those sublists into my Spain and Africa memories list. So day one, all of the pictures, all of the memories, all of the things that we ate. And again, guys, it really is as easy as just selecting the things that you write down in your day and organizing them into a list. All of what you see here takes a majority of 10 or 20 minutes, so long as you are writing things down. Just write things down that you want to remember, and you'll be able to find them and remember them for the rest of your life. Whether or not you even come into this list, they will appear back in your memories view, for example, on March 11th. And then, you can also share this list with your friends, family, anybody who wants to keep up with your experiences, with your trips. You wouldn't do this on a Google Doc, you wouldn't do this in Apple Notes. Write things down, organize them into, high-level lists, and then share them with your loved ones. That, I think, is a great example of a few of my favorite lists and use cases that I think you guys could really benefit from. What's next? List icons. We're gonna be adding icons to your list titles to find them and identify them easier. List cover photos. We're gonna make it even easier for you to add cover photos to your lists. List views. List views effectively is the ability to see your different lists in different ways. So for example, my Spain and Africa memories list, you will have the ability of viewing it as a gallery style. So, tile, 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 or Kanban, for example. So that is what list views means. Passcodes, the ability to set passcodes on your lists, notifications so that you remember to check your twos and remember to check your streaks, and so much more. But again, let's just kind of take this moment to come back to our mission with twos, is to help simplify how people organize, remember, and share their lives. So whatever we can do in order to make that experience more unique, more valuable, more all-encompassing, that is what we are prioritizing most right now. That is all from me, from Twos HQ. I'm really looking forward to cutting this up into a best of section. I'm really looking forward to reading some of your comments and thoughts on Twitter. If you guys have anything else that you would like to discuss, please join our Discord, interact with us on social media, help us get twos out to as many people as we possibly can. Thank you guys again so much.
Despite my big hat, and until next time, happy Tuesday.